You ready?
Yeah.
That's what this whole episode is gonna be about, man. Real shit. Mental health,
Dude.
anxiety. You feeling anxious?
Oh, yeah.
You are?
Oh, yeah.
Nah, man. We just kick it back, talking.
No, for sure.
Nothing to be nervous about. But if you are, we can go through the steps here. Man.
Yeah.
Do a live demonstration of how we deal with it. Yeah. It's real life, man.
No,
That's
for
what people
sure.
go through.
I've never done this before. So like on somebody else's podcast. So that's where the nerves come in.
Technically, you're not the first guest I've attempted, because I don't know. This might not drop. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
True.
But if this does drop, then you will be the first guest. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Are you sure?
Well, listen. Technically, no. All right, look, me and Maddie a long time ago did something, but that was before this was as official as it is today.
Okay. Well,
If this drops, you are
honored.
the first official guest on the Mac Talk podcast here. Let's try to cheers.
That didn't make my nerves go more.
Nah. Breathe in, breathe out. Cheers. There we go.
Thank you for this, by
How
the
you
way.
feeling?
I think a few sips of this will be all right.
All right. Yeah. Well, if you don't know who Tatiana Manaois is, she's a good friend of mine and a singer-songwriter. And she has her own channel and does mental health. I feel like, I don't want to say mental health awareness. Sounds cliche.
Yeah.
But the majority of what you talk about on there is mental health.
It is.
We talk about that here too.
Yeah.
We do.
No, I've seen. I love the topics you speak on. Like, they as wild
For
as
real?
it. Yeah.
Wow.
Of the episodes that I've seen, they do get crazy.
Yeah.
They do get crazy. So but I appreciate that, because it's, for one, very unique. Nobody's talking like that. Nobody spits it how you do. I don't know if that's properly said, but
Y'all hear this shit, man?
yeah, I gotta give you your flowers, man. And this setup,
Appreciate it.
this setup is beautiful.
Well, yeah, you did help out with some of it.
I did.
So yeah, I would say that your channel is way more redefined to its lane. And here on Mac Talk, it's kind of like I just sit down and just let, my 5 fans know what's up, man. Like, I fill them in. All 5 of y'all gather around. Let me tell y'all what, you know what I'm saying? Real shit. Now, we probably got like 7 right now. Real shit.
Don't be so.
I got like 7, man.
That's modest, I think. I think that's modest. But at the same time, I think it's something to appreciate. Not a lot of people can go, free form.
Sitting down by yourself in front of the camera is so much more challenging. Like, speaking about anxiety and getting in your head, I think if anybody were to try to do this, and I don't care if you have 1 subscriber, it doesn't matter. When it lands on YouTube, it's there for anybody.
Yeah.
At any time. If you want to know what it's like to be inside your head and be like trapped with all the, what is it called? Like the thoughts that you have, like the insecurities. Sit in front of a camera for an hour and talk about whatever comes to your mind. Like, you'll start to go through so many emotions, but what helped me out was once I knew who I was talking to, and I started talking to the fans when they would reach out, and I would, what's that sound?
I don't know.
Is that me?
It's you. It's you.
That's me against the couch?
I guess so.
Okay. All right.
Figure that out.
Yeah. Once I knew who I was talking to, I'm like, okay, I could do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it got easier and easier.
Yeah.
But I still think you have that self-awareness, that self-conscious level inside of yourself that's like, man, am I saying something that's appropriate?
Yeah.
And then especially in culture today, you have the PC, politically correct movement that's at an all-time high, and there's so much room for error.
Yeah.
Or at least they make you think that. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least they make you feel like, hey, yo, you better be careful on what you talk. And I'm not the type of person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, if I can't cut it how it is, I don't even want to do it.
Yeah. That's true.
Then what am I doing? Bowing down to who? Like, who is this person that's offended by everything? I don't know.
Well, yeah, and then that's big part of the reason why I commend you all that much more of how you go about your podcast, because to have that healthy degree of like, you can't care, because then it gets in the way of creativity.
You can't. You got to be free.
You got to be free. And, you know, that subconscious shit is real as ever. And to push past all of that and still speak what's true and whatever, and speak your mind on things, like that's I've tried. Good. I've tried. There's a reason why my thought process episodes are scripted, and not to the degree that I say word for word, but I have to say my points and pretty much follow my notes, because otherwise.
Oh man, no, we go off the rails every time here. I feel like people somewhat want that a little bit, but
I hope
want to go off the rails and just kind of shoot the shit a little bit. But I will say, I feel like in the future, just because the way I've been doing this is when I have pockets of time, I'm like, hey, let me just do this. And I just sit down. I'm like, wait, fuck am I going to talk about? You know what I'm saying? What am I going to sit here for 2 hours and ramble on? Purpose? So in the future, I definitely will probably go towards the more scripted. But I was going to ask you, what made you start talking so much about mental health? Like, what dialed that in for you?
That's a good question. And I'll try and give the summed up version is, I think it was too evident that my mental health was, if not more important, but just as important as my journey in music and in my journey in content creating. And if I don't have my
man, no,
because at the end of the day, if I don't have my mental health in check, You got nothing. And if you do, let's just say, you know, some shit on my page went viral, and I go and successful things can happen, and I'm not paying attention to my mental health, you're going to have that cliff. That's inevitable. I think the industry of music and any kind of entertainment industry, I think we've seen over the history of time that that's the case. It's like boom, boom, boom. I need to go. I need to get up there, and then crash. Why? Because they were
more catering towards the fame and the success.
And a balance is key right now between the two.
No, you definitely sound like this is
where I'm at.
Pretty well rehearsed though. At the same time, and a balance is key to that. No. I see a future. I see a future in this shit though. Like really, like I feel like yours is dialed in. Like I said, like that was delivered really, really nice. We'll get there one day here.
So like, so just on the topic, like you saying like that also sounds like well rehearsed. I can get in my head about that even on the Top Process episodes. I'm reading what
I just fucked you up with that, huh?
A little bit, but it's okay. A little bit, but it's okay because it's the process of it. What can you do about it in real time? Everybody's in real time.
I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now. I feel like I'm on your show.
Honestly.
Man, this is good. This is good.
I'm very, you having me on your podcast, I was very honored, and I also had that feeling of like, you sure you want me on there? Because I'm on a whole nother...
I'll pay you what you asked for after this, man.
Never that.
Nah, so what you said was vital though. Like when your mental health is off, everything else is off. And I feel like I kind of stumbled across that where I'm like, you know what, if I get here, then I'll probably feel better. If I get that, then I'll probably feel better. And then it just kept it, nothing could subside the emptiness that I felt from, and I had no idea where it was stemming from. You know, like you hear about what happens in your childhood, and for men there's a stigma where it's the weakness thing. It's like, yo, bitching about your childhood, or like, yo, just get over it. You know what I'm saying? Because like most men, that's kind of the advice. Is like, yo, get over it. Suck it the fuck up. Like, what are you doing? There's a part of me that likes that. There's a part of me that does like that, because there are things in life where it's like, let it go. You know what I'm saying? Let it fucking go. But I do feel like there's a certain age that before that was not your fault.
Oh, 100%.
And those are the things that I feel are very difficult when I went through the process, was digging that far back, because I had zero control of it. Like I didn't even know what to what to say. I'm like, yo, we're talking about 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I'm like, you're asking. I'd rather talk to you about what I can be accountable for as a man, but everything has that domino effect where when one falls, it pushes the other one over.
Yeah.
So if you fix the ones in the middle, it doesn't do any good because the other ones fell down before it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? There's still something over there that needs to be handled or like healed from, or
yeah. Do you feel like you had well, I feel like everybody has childhood trauma, but do you feel like there was a certain focus or a breakthrough that what was the turning point for you to reach out to somebody to get help? To get help, yeah.
Ooh, that's a loaded question. I think that that's actually a loaded question. Brought some emotion up in me.
Yo, man, we can do whatever, man. We can cry on here, we can laugh on here.
Man, do it all. I hear you, and I appreciate the safe space.
Super safe.
It goes out to the millions of whoever wants to see it
on YouTube. Yeah, safest place in the world. What do you mean?
You just have to not read the comments. And in
the comments, I was just about to say,
you have to.
Oh man, talk about like mental health. If you want to protect your mental health in this game, just never read the comments.
Yeah, have someone filter it out for you, and you can respond. But anyway, to answer your question, I think it was just a matter of the people I love. The people I love the most. Ooh, yeah. Now you asked it a loaded question.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, I'm like in the thick of the healing journey.
Okay,
so
yeah. Nah, me too.
Let me just drink real quick.
Hey, yo, no, we can take it. We can take a second.
I started like losing relationships that mattered to me, and I didn't want that. I knew that I cared to the degree it's like, hey, you got to do something about this because I love those people. You are one of them. And not to say that there was anything, Lord have mercy, anything there to go left field on the conversation, but in a nutshell,
you need a tissue or something?
I think I will get one for myself.
No, I got it.
Yeah, I think it was a matter of losing out on relationships that I really cared about. And I said, hey, I just said to myself, like, it's either you're going to keep going down the path that you're going and not looking at your own behavior, and you know where this leads. You can literally look. Go ahead. You'll lose everybody you care about. Go ahead. The path is right there. And I didn't want that. And I was like, the only way I can fix this is I clearly need help with this. So I have to make those steps now. That is the other way. That is the only way. Because I've tried to act like I can solve this by myself, and it's like, it's all fine. It's not, because I was losing the people I love, and I don't, and let alone like, it's not fun to know that you mistreated somebody emotionally or anything, any mistreatment. It's not fun to know
the
that.
Shame and all that.
Oh my God, the shame is probably one of the hardest ones.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so hopefully.
Well, I'll say this. You caught it young, like I know well for one, I'll say this, especially with females, man. Like I don't see, what's weird is like I see, because what I heard right there is like you took accountability. And I'm gonna be real with you, like I don't want to segue into anything that's like unserious or whatever, but females don't be accountable, y'all. Like they just like they don't. Like I look, from this side of the fence, hearing a female, because that's what struck me right away. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got some accountability in here. It's very rare for I know that there's good females, obviously, but many females just play the victim.
Right.
Immediately. Like when they take therapy, it's more like a person they just get to
vent.
Yeah. To. And then just be like, let me tell you how they did me wrong. And all of that. So immediately I was like, damn. Mm-hmm. And then your age, being still in your 20s and catching it.
Yeah.
Because when I went and I was thinking like, man, I should have caught this sooner, because it helped me out a lot when you get through your therapy journey. Mm-hmm. You're like, damn, man, I should have done this.
Oh, yeah.
But my psychiatrist telling me like, trust me when I tell you this. The average age is about 50.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
I think
50.
Yeah, I think that is what I know to be true.
Yeah, like, you know, it's like late 40s, 50.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I don't think I would have made it. And that's the sad part. A lot of people don't make it.
Mm-hmm. They don't get that awakening.
No, they either, you know, burn every bridge and end up just miserable in life, or they, whatever they were self-medicating backfired, and unfortunately, you know, an overdose can happen, and you know, that's definitely the worst case scenario. But no, knowing that, it makes me feel like you're gonna be okay.
I appreciate that.
You know?
You sure?
Yeah, you know, I think. You know what I think.
So
I do. Now that Trump back in office, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be all right.
No, no, not politics.
We'll save the politics, no, for real.
Man. But yeah, I think, you know, to what you were saying, I think I would have to agree that I am grateful for how young, because I mean, I won't dive into speaking on other people's lives, like, for example.
Come on.
Well, I mean,
who we talking about?
Well, I know that. So, long story short, like my parents are, you know, on their own journey, and obviously that's where a lot of the problems start. It's where it started.
Always the damn parents, man. Real shit.
It's where it started. The term.
I'm not saying that about your parents, but
no, for sure. And with all respect to them, they had their. No, everybody's got it. They had their things that they had going on that they had to heal from. The difference is, I feel like it's the resources that we have this day and age. You have the internet, you have YouTube, you have books that you can educate yourself on what you're really going through. And to your point in the beginning about men, I don't know what that world is like, but there is that era where it was tough it up, kid. Like, so if that's what they're coming from, I can't expect that person to give me emotional support when they didn't even get it themselves. So there,
it is that, like, how somebody doesn't even know what that feels like, looks like. How do they give something they've never experienced firsthand? You know what's crazy is I feel like in life I went through several heartbreak, ups and downs, losing people, making stupid decisions, and just a bunch of harsh consequences. You know, and you hear that those things turn a boy into a man, and that's what helps you grow. But I would argue that choosing to sit down when, I mean, everything is definitely, you don't go and sit with a therapist when everything is great.
No.
You know, you definitely go see a therapist when shit is hitting the fan. But making that decision to be like, you know what, I could probably do something else right now. I could probably go drink. I could probably go hit the casino, go hit a party, or go date a girl to distract or just stay online all day and scroll and distract myself from the real problem. Or I can actually be proactive about this shit, get myself in the office, sit the fuck down, and really get this over with.
Yeah.
I feel like that, even before you get to the office, if I can, and I can speak for myself, at that very moment, the boy, I'm not going to say he died. But I probably grew the most was when I was like, I'm actually going to do something.
Yeah.
This shit has been hanging over me for a long time, and just hearing about, like, yo, you should maybe do this, or I hear about it from family members, like, yo, the way, you know, the upbringing was kind of crazy, whatever. And I'm just, nah, it'll sort itself out. But that very moment where I said, you know what, enough is enough, I don't want this, I started to look towards the future, and I'm like, the next thing in the near future is like a wife and kids. The last fucking thing I need is to be my kids talking about, man, my dad didn't deal with his shit. Then here I am sitting very fortunate, blessed, financially okay. It's like, why didn't you go take care of that, bro? Like, you had all this shit in your house and you got all these cool things going on. Yeah, no, that's just New York City, baby. It's loud as hell.
Yeah.
But you had all these things and you did this and you traveled here and blah, blah, blah. But you didn't go sit down with a therapist and sort some of this shit out.
But it kind of goes to show just how tough it can be, because you stray away from it naturally.
Therapy is tough. Therapy is tough.
It's work.
Therapy, you know, the thing that I'll say about therapy is, like, the first 3 are probably the toughest.
Yeah.
The first like 3
you have to
sit down.
fill it out.
It's about the person too.
Yeah.
Like once you build a rapport with somebody, this is what it was like for me. If I can tell that you're just doing this to get paid, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I know that you gotta get paid.
Yeah.
I know that. But if you don't relate to some shit that I'm saying, and it was just a book, or you just went, to college for this, and it's not really like something you care about, I can't sit and open up to you.
Yeah.
You know, because all I'm gonna be thinking about is how you don't want to hear what the fuck I'm talking about,
and you're just
how you can't wait to get out. Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So if that, for me, that's off the table, and then I feel like me and that person, I don't care. Like, look, my psychiatrist was like 60, female, 60. And I connected with, and I had a therapist before her that was like 40.
Wow.
And the 60-year-old clicked way harder.
Yeah.
And then
more experience in life.
Yeah, and I felt like honestly, like if I feel like I'm anywhere close to being just as smart as you, like no. Do you know what I'm saying?
I see. I need you to be wiser.
You gotta be teaching me something. Yeah. That's another thing is we've talked about this off, is how widespread and how detrimental. What's the negative? Like how? Yeah, whatever. Narcissism is. Just how crazy that world is, right? Yeah, like it is such a fucking trip that in the beginning. Therapy is like, life is a trip. Yeah. Therapy is no different. It's part of life. When I decided to get involved, she asked me like, yo, how much do you know about some of these things? And one of the things that she said was like narcissism. And I was like, man, to be honest with you, I actually don't know anything about it. Yeah. I think a narcissist is like an evil villain. Yeah. That's it. When she started saying like, these are the things that pretty much 90% of this shit traces back to that. Like you're not gonna catch me off. You're not gonna catch a psychiatrist who's been doing this, who has a real PhD, off guard. This is all the same, and it makes you feel. For me, it made me feel great knowing that it's like, hey, look, no, you're gonna be okay. We all go through this. Just trust me on this. Yeah. If you see this towards the end, I promise, me and you are gonna have more intellectual conversations where you actually get it. Yeah, it makes sense to you. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's like, what is this world you're talking about? This the psychological side of things. Big time. Yeah, and I feel like men are definitely behind that because let's be honest, we're a little bit more out of touch with the emotions.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, and once I started going in the direction of, you know what, I want to get my life together. Everything that I feel like is unhealthy or something that was an escape or anything that I had because of something bad. Yeah. I wanted to kind of uproot that and get on with my life. But I started dating a female, and then I had my own issues, and then I had her bugging the fuck out, right? Wow. And I'm trying to wow. for real, wow. Nah, that was definitely the most calmest wow to this shit, but this was definitely wow. Now I had her bugging out, and she was talking all these terms. She was like, it's this, and it's PTSD, or it's that, it's this, that. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, this girl, she just more knowledgeable about this. I'm doing my own journey. Give me a few months, and then I'll have this conversation with her. Well, she's bugging out so much, and it was so toxic. I end up, long story short, my psychiatrist like, yo, give me the fucking text log. Let me see what the fuck is going on here. Yeah. And sure enough, she was like, that narcissism shit I was telling you? Yeah. That's what's going on here. And that helped me out so much because it's a trip. We started talking about, excuse my language, the girl. We're talking about her, but what was going on with her, I don't want to get too personal, was going on with some of my family members who were in my life as a child. Yeah. And it was just the best segue, introduction I could have asked for.
Yeah, it seems like.
It made me so much more in tune because I was like, wait, these bitches be doing this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, and come to find out, they do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you this. Ever since, like, I've really taken, like, a real deep dive into, like, narcissism, it's like a cheat sheet. Like you can see people how they move. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And it opens up that you don't feel that way?
What's so crazy is that I have a parallel story. It's not
Do tell.
Well, no, you're on a roll, and I'm eager to hear the rest of the unfolding of it. But I can definitely relate. I didn't know it till later on my own healing journey. But with all respect to my mother, I love her. I do. She deserves to heal. But heavy traits of narcissism, and that's how I learned about it myself. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, so I have to understand that is a thing that's happening.
Hey, you know what? Fuck it. Look, my mom got the same shit.
Wow.
The same shit.
Yeah. See, it's devastating because your mother. It's devastating.
Yeah. No.
Your mother naturally is your. That's where you came from.
Oh no, we're gonna get real deep.
Dude, it is that deep. And that's the craziest thing is that...
To bring it back, just so you can piggyback on it, that's what I was talking about with the female.
Okay, yeah.
The female had these things going on. But I was before I even met the female, I was in there for my own childhood trauma.
Right.
So now she's telling me, she's like, all right, narcissism. And I'm like, hey, look, the way that whole thing unfolded was my psychiatrist was like, listen, if this is going on, we got to fix this first.
Yeah.
So we can get back to what's going on with you. When you're in a relationship and your bitch is bugging out, you can't think of nothing else. Yeah. Kind of overrides. You're like, dude,
a lot of mental capacity.
It's like a fire we try to put out. I feel like men are just like, yo, just how do I put this fire out? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, yeah, she was like, look, let's talk about this. What's going on? I'm like, yo, she says she has, PTSD. She tried to give me some tips for it. Didn't work. Right. And she was like, man, you sure she got PTSD? I'm like, that's all she's saying. Like, that's the only thing she tells me is like, that's my PTSD. But it was always like a very convenient PTSD. And I just felt like it was extremely childish. And I'm like, nothing made sense. From the outside looking in, I'm like, all right, the girl seems successful, stable, whatever. Yeah. Then I get behind the scenes. I'm like, this bitch is hella childish. She's doing crazy things. And I feel like she's her own worst enemy.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I'm like, a lot of these things that you're doing have nothing to do with me. Like I could say goodbye to you. But if I leave and you're still doing this, like you're the only one that's going to take this loss because of all these activities. Right. So anyway, after PTSD didn't work like 5 times, she's like, give me the text logs. I could tell you right now exactly what's happening if she's a narcissist. And I'm thinking, I'm like, is it that simple? She was like, if I could read it in its entirety, like if you don't copy and paste, if I could read it all, I could see if somebody's being narcissistic. Right. So that's what I did. Like there was a couple weird things that happened, and I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. Like this is getting a little bit too heavy. And it was only like 4 months in. You know what I'm saying? It's like 4 months in. And like a lot of my people know this story, but I don't want to get too deep in it because it'll go crazy. But it will, because none of the stories make sense. Okay. Do you know what I'm saying? None of them make any sense.
And to me, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and to her it makes sense. Like when she read, like, look, when I gave her the text logs, 3 days later, I got a call. She's like, nah, we got it. Like, it's all good. Came in there, man, and she was like, nah, like, I got it. I'm like, what do you mean you got it? This bitch been running around here like a crazy person for the last 4 months of my life. I'm a pretty smart individual, you know what I'm saying? And I don't got it.
Right, like, how did I miss
You read some text messages for 3 days, and now you're like, yeah, I got it. I know exactly what's going on. And then when I came in, the first day she broke it down to me. She was like, nah, you don't see what's happening here? So this is reactive abuse. So she's going to try to gaslight you. She's going to devalue you. You got to find the devalue. She was like, here it is, right here. Like everything was like, it was disgustingly on point. Yeah. By day 3 of me Googling YouTube and everything, it fucking started all clicking. Dude, listen, I've never said this, but you know how I'm a troll, right? Like one of my fucking
one of the best.
One of my toxic traits in life, man. I don't know what this is. Maybe I should take this up with a therapist, but is I end up trolling a situation. Once I learn that there's something going on, I play into the person. Does anybody else do that shit?
Play into the person.
Like
like the troll side of you. Play into the person.
Yeah, I call it trolling. Like, cause all right, look, there's like we always get real on this podcast. Listen, there's two different versions of my troll. There's a troll, and you've probably seen both of them. Okay. There's a troll, like, all right, like let's say you leave me in a bar, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, I'm about to go handle a meeting. I'll come back. Okay. I'm like, all right, well, I'll be here at this bar. I don't know these people. Maybe like Soho. We never go to Soho, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll be around here, right?
Yeah.
My friendly trolling is, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just go with the flow of this whole situation, and I'll just become like a different person for this little hour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'll just be trying to get information though. It's how I get information. So when you come back, I can tell you everything about Soho. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I know they wouldn't let me in if I was like this. The red flags would fly, and like this tattooed guy who talked with so much slang, this, that, the third. So if I start putting on like something else, I tone it down a little bit, I can get more information. So the evil part of my trolling though is when I'm involved in a situation with someone I know personally and they're on some bullshit.
Yeah. It's
kind of like just the person that plays along with it and they know what's going on.
Because you know it's bullshit.
Because I know something's, it's not what they're, exactly, it's bullshit. Yeah. It's not what they're saying it is. So in the last 3 days of this relationship, right, she was like, we've talked about this, but when you're in a relationship, there's 4 stages of abuse that keep cycling over. What do you mean G? Don't you know that?
I'm saying that you had to go through that with her.
What?
That's what the G is for.
Because
you went through all 4, because I know about them.
I went through all 4, man, several times.
Right.
I went through all 4 long distance too. This is why the main reason I even brought this up is because they should teach this shit in high school.
They should.
This would save lives.
I think so.
Save lives, man.
Bringing awareness to it for sure.
Man, what? So yeah. Anyway, the last 3 days, she's telling me, she's like, all right, you've already approached the devalue stage. She's gonna discard you. And I'm like, discard who? Bitch. I'm like, who do you?
Which is the coldest part of the phases, because it's like you're nothing and I can do away with you.
Yeah, but then here's my part of the troll. So like. So she ends up saying, I'm asking all the questions. I'm like, why am I getting discarded? Mm-hmm. She's like, that's a power move. Like, she needs to have the power of like, I left him. Like, then she described it. She was like, it's kind of like whoever texts who last loses. Wow. She was like, so if you fill the narcissist up with all the validation and all the security that you're not going anywhere, the narcissist, instead of being like, "Aw, I appreciate your loyalty," they're like, "Ooh, now would be a great time to leave him because he's gonna be so devastated," right? So I loaded her up, just being cool, being like, "Yo, like, make sure you let me know you're okay." Like, I'm doing all this and that. Yeah, I'm doing all this and that.
Fatal mistake.
Yeah, I'm just but I'm like, there's no way this girl is gonna do this because I don't think this girl's really right. I'm in the first week of talking to the psychiatrist, telling me that she knows the girl I'm talking to better than I do.
Wow.
And I'm over here going like, man, you sure about this? She's like, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. She was like, I have read these texts and I've seen the cycle repeat itself like 28 times. Do you really think on the 29th time it's not going to happen?
Right.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's no way human beings act like this. But fucking A, yes, they do. That reason why you get in the same argument over and over and over. And that's it, because you're in the same cycle.
Yeah.
You guys are probably, I think half of the people watching this might be in narcissistic relationships, not even know about it.
And that's the most heartbreaking thing, for sure.
Man, so when I finally seen that it was that and it happened, I never hit her again. I was like, she showed me that was the case.
They call that no contact.
Yeah, you got to go no contact, right? And that's another thing is I probably, if it wasn't for this damn psychiatrist, I probably would have tapped back in and been like, hey, look, man, like there's no, because I've never had that. I've never had that happen with a female. When you get when you get involved with a narcissist, it's not like just a toxic relationship. Like, there's a certain pattern that narcissists use that is like deliberately to drive you insane. Like, that's what it is. They want you to be the person who's crazy. They want you to be the one that's freaking out. They bring you down so they feel up. This is their whole goal. Someone who's just dealing with shit and they're just erratic and all that, they don't have the same pattern. They might be emotionally off the chain, but they don't have this particular pattern. And this is how studies have been done for almost like I don't know exactly, but it's like thousands of years.
Yeah.
They've been talking about narcissism.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 1,000, but it's a long time. The only way that they were able to quantify that information is by seeing that same exact pattern.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is.
Yeah. No, it's very.
So to lead it back to the mom thing, after I had the introduction with the female, and she's like, that's a narcissist. That is a covert narcissist. Once we started talking about my real issues I was there for, I was already brought up to, I'm like,
it made perfect sense.
I'm like, got it. I'm like, okay, so that's what was going on. And a lot of the things in my childhood, I never seen it because they're so smart with the love bombing. I feel like we just have to say this. Like, there's the infatuation stage. There's love bombing. Everything is perfect, and they do these things to make up for all the shit they put you through. Yeah, and that process is so convincing. Makes you drop everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a play on your emotions in completely, and I think that the part that is the real like twist of the knife, if you will, when you're healing and going to therapy, is that you have to go through the grieving process, even if your parent is still alive, or sibling, if it leaked through the siblings kind of dynamic, because the siblings learn from the parents. You have to go through the grieving process of who you thought you had, who you thought you had as a mother, who you thought you had as a father, because your brain, I'm new to diving into this information, but your brain doesn't want to know that you have a fucked up parent structure. Your brain is like, no, wait,
Everything's all right.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine because you want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a process to find out about it for yourself because you're going through to therapy for a reason, and then it's a process of accepting the truth. This happened in my childhood. There's that, there's that space of like, that was not my fault.
Was that hard for you?
I think it was a process over a period of time in the beginning. And a few times my therapist was like, it sounds like you're in the thick of grieving your mother. Like you're back in the thick of it. Because I used to get really emotional about not having the relationship I wanted with my mother. Yeah. But it was so spaced out, so I couldn't dial in why I'm feeling this way. So with therapy, you're always dissecting it, and that's a faster, you get to the point faster of like, this is what's happening. The reason why you're never getting to that point with your mother is because she is currently incapable of meeting you there. You have to digest that.
Yeah.
So.
No. I know that's definitely a tough one.
Yeah.
I would say it was for men, but as well as women, I feel like it's easier to throw dad under the bus. You know, like in my own journey, I always thought it was my father. Like I was like, yo, it's definitely probably him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gotta be. And then come to find out, it's actually, it could be both for some people. Your mother is like, ooh.
Yeah, because it's the nurture. She's supposed to be the nurturing one.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big piece that helped me heal faster, was constantly reminding myself that what happened to me did suck, but what happened to my mother sucked too. And she deserves to heal from that. Yeah. And unfortunately, she wasn't able to give me what I needed. That's it. She did what she could with what she knew how. Go from there. Now it's up to you. It sucks. It does. Because it's like your brain knows when you get into this world, your parents are your foundation. If that foundation is rocked, you're off to a bad start. And I feel like a lot of us are. So we can all relate to that. And that honestly was another helpful thing for me to know I'm not alone.
Yeah, I think that is definitely like when people come out and talk about it, you feel almost like anxiety. Like when you have anxiety, when you just come out and say like, yo, I got anxiety right now. It almost relieves it a little bit.
Yeah, because it's out.
But there is a period of time where I feel like panic is happening. Yeah. With some people. I went through that where I don't care what you did. Like, it doesn't matter. My anxiety, my like generalized anxiety was so high, like it was so high that there was nothing that I could do. I was just inside my house. Like, I was safe as can be, man. Just surrounded, money, dogs, guns. I'm safe as can be. Right. But I was still freaking out, and I'm just like, man, what is going on? Here's another thing that I've been looking more into is being careful with the triggers. Mm-hmm. Because I live a life where I have to do a lot of different things. I have to put on different hats, right? And sometimes I get envious of people who work the 9 to 5. I feel like that. I'm like, man, well, because I used to be a Teamster, man. Like I used to be for UPS, man.
Nice. I was as well for a very short time. I didn't get the legitness of it, but Safeway.
Yeah. No. When I worked for UPS, I had a certain kind of like a piece to me that I was like, all right, this kind of. I was very young. I was only 18. Got a job immediately, but. It was like your parents are like, yo, go work a job. That's what we're asking you to do. Mm-hmm. And when you still have that kind of like kid mind, you're like, oh, yo, I went to work. Like I did my job. Yeah. And now it's done. And it's not going to start again until I punch in tomorrow. And there's a simplicity to it that gives people peace. When you're like an entrepreneur and you're on, you got to be in charge of everything. That's already a different ball game than the simple 9 to 5. Yeah. So I'm kind of shifting gears a lot, but I've started to notice that if I end up having a day where I'm like more anxious, or for me, it sometimes it could be anxious, but sometimes it'll be like massive brain fog, and that's like detachment, right? Where you just eject. Yeah.
Disassociation.
Like, yeah. And I would notice, especially if I try to do a podcast, I can't do a podcast if that's going on. Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
been there.
And I'll be like, fuck, that slowed me down. I wasted like 4 hours trying to do that. Yeah. And then I started to notice that I had these people in my life that were triggering off some of these things, and some would last weeks. Weeks of me feeling crazy. And I'm like, man, and I started every single time that I've reached out to the therapist or psychiatrist and been like, hey, look, let me just bring you up to speed. This is how I've been feeling. She'll always give me some piece of game that's like, she'll leave me with something where it's like, you might want to check the people that came into your life in the last 2 weeks. Maybe there's some unresolved issue or something like that. Sure enough, she's always right. Wow. There would be there's people you allow in your life that are taking something from you, and you just don't see it that way because you're a good person. Mm-hmm. You have empathy and they don't. You're just
from the giving place.
Yeah. So you're getting depleted. These motherfuckers are down. Like they're down. They don't got nothing to stand on. They're like, all right, well, let me be around that person because that person's joyful, or that person's funny, or that person makes me feel this way because he compliments me or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So you get some of those people around you, and I'm not this way today, but I used to be the type of person where I'm like, if you're in my inner circle, you can come and go as you please. Like you pretty much can. I've had people stay at my. They're like, yo, is anybody staying at your place, Cali? I'm like, you can stay at my place. Like, yeah, bro, I got you. Like, oh shit, you need a car? Here you go. Hey, yo, that shit ate me a lot. I think a lot of that is what pushed me into the panic. Was just being taken advantage of by so many people. Yeah. And I wasn't really realizing it. Yeah. Because I wanted to be that person. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to be the good friend that's like, yo, I got you, don't worry about it. But nobody can go down that road without being replenished, reciprocated. Like you can't
pour back into yourself.
You're gonna crash. But I feel like that panic, and if somebody's going through that now, I know it doesn't seem like it, but it's the best thing that could happen to you.
Yeah.
If I take away that, and I was just cool as a cucumber the whole time, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know where I would be at.
You mean if you didn't take...
If the anxiety didn't stop me.
Oh, I see.
If the anxiety didn't stop me, I would still be like, I was as self-destructive as I would work with you. I wasn't, but you know what I'm saying? Behind the scenes, right. I was definitely a sketchy figure, but I drank a lot, I partied, and I was gambling at that time, and I was just very, I was living a very unhealthy, unrealistic life. One of the interesting things that, I wouldn't say it baffled my psychiatrist, but one of the things that she said she doesn't see a lot is, she was like, you have something that we call like dark motivation. And there's something called like a dark empath, which is, to boil it down, it's like somebody who's gone through abuse in emotional, physical, whatever form, right? When they're young, they either become extremely detached and kind of like the dumb kid, kind of like the kid that's just sitting there like, hey, like, yo, do something, or like always a kid that just doesn't know what's going on around him. Out. Yeah, done with it. Then there's the other one that becomes extremely emotionally intelligent, because they're trying to peep from to save themselves from getting hurt. Mm-hmm. I became that one that became extremely aware,
hypervigilant
of what's happening. Like, I can tell you shit that's about to happen that hasn't happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm so key on what's going on. The problem with that is it's taxing.
Yeah.
That's why you're always stressed, right? And then she was like, but you have something that we call dark motivation, that when bad things happen to you, she was like, the way that you get revenge is by being successful in a very dark way, in a like more like a spiteful way. One of the hard things about therapy is realizing that you're fucked up too. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, real shit.
Right.
One of the things was, it's like you have those sessions that are gonna go like, like, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about that bitch, or we're talking about this person, whatever it is, but you're gonna have those ones that's about you. You know what I'm saying? And you have to realize that you're narcissistic, or you're fucking sociopath, whatever it is. I had plenty of those where I had to realize that when bad things were, when I was young, I had a lot of people that would tell me like I wouldn't be nothing. It was kind of like one of those, like, because I was failing in school. I never showed any signs of being smart in the academic way, right?
Yeah. So
there would be times that, certain family members or whatever would be like, oh, like, you're not going to be shit. And those to me, I would feel like any kid, I would have like the fuck you.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be angry about it. But I started plotting already, like, I'm going to prove you wrong. But the problem with it, though, and this is why therapy is so vital, everything ends up clicking in the end, like the end of I don't know the producer that would do movies like this, like a good thriller movie. Everything just comes together in the end. The reason why I picked the crime route was because I was like, I don't care about being good. This world wasn't good to me.
There it is.
So I'm not gonna be good to it.
Yeah. Why?
And you got the government taking money and taxing this and that. And I grew up in a house, we was on welfare for 3 years, and the money, this and money. You want me to feel bad for making money? Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. So, and who's gonna care if I go to prison?
Right.
I'm kind of in like a win-win. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I started going that route, and it didn't stop, and it taxed my body, my emotional state, my whole nervous system. I became, and girls that I would date, they would know, like, you're very intense right now. Yeah, you handle shit and you get shit done, and the females will love that. But if a female really cares about you, she'll notice that, like, hey, you're not really good right now. Yeah. Like, I see that you came home with the bag and you got this and that, but you don't seem good up here. Like, you ain't laughed in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, like, so that would be like the dark motivation. Is it was always a great thing. In the way that my psychiatrist broke it down, she was like, it's so hard to detect with those people because a lot of times, like, men, they go through breakups, they'll get their body in shape. It's hard to tell when somebody's in shape if they're going through it or not.
What's the motivating factor?
Yeah, and a lot of times they come out on the other side okay because they find that confidence in themselves. But there are some people that the childhood trauma is so bad and deep that it never leaves. Yeah, and I'm kind of like one of those people where that dark motivate. If a girl leaves me, I'm like, listen, I'm so head to toe with how my body works, how I respond to shit. Like, if I get into it with a girl, I'm like, I already know this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt. Right. But oh my God, like, I'm about to buy another house behind this bitch. I'm about to bury, not literally, I'm about to bury this bitch with new cars, new shit. I'm about to go crazy. And I like that. Yeah. In the pain that I feel, like, I know I'm going to get something out of this because I don't let people, now here's where the trauma comes in. I don't let people do me wrong in any way, shape, or form without a repercussion. Yeah. And I'm not going to hurt you physically because I'm not like that. Yeah. But you're going to see me.
My revenge is my success.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's hard to be happy when you actually get the success. Yeah. So you stunted on the bitch, you know, but at the same time, you're still not happy. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I found myself in 2020 or something. Ended up having a lot of things that you would think would make me happy. Right. But I'm like, dude, none of this does it anymore. Yeah. So having that dark, kind of like the villain in a way that says, like, man, like, I'm gonna make something of myself. You're gonna feel me. You're gonna feel me again. Yeah. I'm not done. But even if you conquered the whole world, that little boy inside of you is still hurt. Yeah. Because the souls don't grow, man. No, and they're timeless. They live forever. The body's aging. You know what I'm saying? We're getting older, but that kid that's inside of you is still tripping. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think that just to make sure drink to that, man.
Right. No, you're right. You're right about that. You're right.
How is that drink?
It's very nice. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm a bartender, man.
Yeah, I'd say.
And a barista.
Ooh.
Yeah, you've been having some of them.
I'm not gonna lie. Your espresso machine.
Don't get us started on an espresso machine on this podcast because we definitely love that topic over here. But
what's not to love?
The one thing I will say about the espresso machine though is when you're going through anxiety and depression, one of the hardest things is coffee amplifies that shit to a whole new world. Right. And I can't go without my coffee, man.
I know the struggle with that. I totally can relate.
So tell me this, when you're going through anxiety, how does your body respond?
That's a great question. Different ways sometimes. It depends on the situation. Most times it's between complete shutdown. And I used to be really bad at that. Like, I damn near would like just shut complete down. Or it's try to fix it more and in that process fuck it up more. And then,
well, do you have like panic attacks?
I've had one serious one that I really had to like go to a corner and kind of do some breathing. Yeah. And then the minute ones.
Wait, was that at my house a long time ago?
You know what it was?
Was it really?
It was.
Wow.
But you know what? That wasn't, I wouldn't say that was like the truest panic attack because it was weed.
Yeah, I was about to say, now we got to explain this. Like, because why she having a panic attack at Mase's house?
Oh, no, for sure.
She smoked weed for the first, I don't know if it was the first time.
That much.
Okay, yeah.
I've hit a blunt before.
I didn't give it to her. She had her own family over there. They were doing their own thing. Next thing I know, Tatiana's in the corner.
Hyperventilating. Hyperventilating.
Hey, some of them, not to get off on something else, but some of them parties, man, were crazy. Yeah, no. Go ahead. Yeah. Nah, hell nah. Get back to it. Yeah.
And then if it's not one of those two, it's like I've learned, it's hard to say that I remember clearly, but because I've learned when I am anxious, I do breathing exercises because they're very helpful. And because if I'm in an anxious state and I'm trying to get something done, I'm not going to get it done if I'm in an anxious state.
Yeah, at all.
So you have to do the things.
The one thing about the breathing is I know it helps and it's like scientifically proven to help, but it doesn't do it for me. Just sitting there breathing like that. Like, I have to sort these things out mentally. It used to get to me like that when I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm getting so familiar with my own body.
Yeah.
That I'm starting to know the second the trigger gets flipped.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
You're in a different state.
Yeah, and look, knowledge really is power. I feel like coming from the city that I came from, and the learning, the bar, I don't even know what to call this. Like, the learning curve was so low, like so low that I don't want to say like in Vallejo, we're just walking around with half a brain, but like it didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't much, I don't know how else to put this, man. But once you actually start reading on something that's proactive, something that's going to benefit you, I don't care what it is, man, like business, software programming, mental health, doesn't matter. It makes you a better person. It really does. Like, I don't care if it's history, whatever, you're gonna come in handy somewhere in life. Ain't nothing more useless than a dumb motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? That just don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just all the bare minimum of everything. It's like, bruh, like, and that's what's missing today. One of the things I hear from most females is, damn, it feels nice to actually talk to someone that could hold a conversation. I'm like, damn. I'm like, who y'all out here dating? What's up with these dudes, man?
Right.
What's up with these dudes?
Yeah.
But my conversational skills came from me trying to learn something, you know, like back when I'm fresh out Vallejo, like I was probably ignorant as hell. Like, didn't know nothing. Then that's why I advocate so heavy about people getting out of that shit. Not even just the geographical area of where you are, the circles, the friend groups, all those things they keep you dumb. They keep you stupid. There's a lot of,
I think if I could add a word,
please.
I think they keep you sane. They keep you sane if you're
keep you sane. Yeah. Stagnant. You know what I'm saying? They keep you stagnant. Like, you don't grow. And how boring is that? Living the same episode over and over again, and you never get anything different. That's one of the, and I don't want to steer us off too far, but there's such a culture that hip hop, rap, that has really plagued the inner city communities. Like I said, I only speak from where I'm from, but it happens everywhere. Every hood is the same. Where people think, man, like being tough is the greatest thing you could be, and how to be a gangster. All that shit is full of shit. Wait, those so-called tough people, when they hit the jails, they don't think about nothing other than the money. They want the money right away. That's who they calling. They never call the hardest person in their hood. They call their mom. They call their mom. They're like, hey, yo, like, because she's the only stable person they have in their life. But what does that tell you? What does that tell you? But the thing is, you get, or at least me, I've gotten flack from people in my area that's like, oh, yo, he went Hollywood. Hollywood? Right. This is Hollywood to you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm probably the most anti-social fame, whatever. Like, no. Anti-Hollywood. But anything that's not what they're doing every day, or anybody who's different in any way is like, that's lame. No. What you guys are doing is lame. You have a whole life and you just spend it the same way every fucking day. It's like, no, I'm not jacking that.
Yeah.
I'm not jacking that. I don't think you are. I don't really think you're really happy like that. Like, you see like certain gangbangers and shit, like they do the same shit every day. They're like, man, I'll never change. All right.
Yeah.
I think you really want to. I think you really want to, but you're hard. I know I'm ranting right now.
No.
But you're afraid of the hard work that comes with it. All right, go ahead.
I was just going to add to that's the saddest part, is that the psychological side to it, the psychological side to the belief of like, this is what I'm about. I'm quoting you when I say that.
Hey, this is like an angel in my ear compared to me. I was just going crazy. This is like a good contrast, y'all.
Well, I'm glad.
We should have you on this podcast permanently. Like, every time the rant meter gets too high, you just come in there and mellow this shit right back out, man.
Like I said, I'd be privileged and honored to be on here again.
Go ahead.
But I think that the psychological side of that is where my heart goes out to those like anybody who's going through that phase of like, I'll never change, because let's just say for one angle looking at it, the belief is, if I go outside of this way of life, what if it's bad? So I'm not gonna.
Am I? Like,
or who am I? Oh my God, who am I?
I used to be like that.
Same here. The identity that I had with music.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know how tangled up it was in my trauma, because I believed. So I'm learning about myself. Mm-hmm. That belief that if I do this thing, I'll be okay. It's like, to some degree, I feel like that's okay to believe, but there is that factor of, if you believe that too hard, you're going to set yourself up for failure, because what happens when you don't make it, or if you do make it and the feeling is still there, because the feeling is the trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So then what happens then? You crash and burn there.
I think one of the big things for men especially is like validation.
Yeah.
People can get like, if I've said this a million times, if there's any weird noises, it's me backing up against the couch. Yeah. If I went broke and all this shit just failed, all of this just didn't work, it was all for nothing. For one, it'll be the greatest story for me. I'm so grateful for the life I've lived just off of the experience. I don't want to be like, man, I have friends that died or whatever, but I know friends that didn't make it past 21. Jeez. It's hard for me to be like, man, like ungrateful for all this. All this is a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, because he was just at the wrong place, the wrong time. In my city, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time, it's over. If it all went bankrupt today and I had to go back to the hood,
yeah,
because of what I experienced, I would know that the hood is on. I wouldn't say lame shit. I wouldn't say lame. I would say, because I've got a taste of what's outside of it, I don't think it would hit the same. But if I never tasted this and I don't know what's outside of the hood, the hood is where it's at.
Yeah. The
hood is where it's at. I remember one time, I won't say any like details, but I went to a neighborhood bar, and I'm not speaking down to anybody, but I go to the neighborhood bar after maybe, I don't know, 3-4 years. There's certain bars in Vallejo that we just don't go to, you know? But I ended up going to this bar after like maybe 5 years or something like that, right? I walk in and immediately people notice me, maybe like 4 or 5 people. And usually that's a 50-50 in Vallejo. Like that's either the worst case scenario,
I see.
Or it's going to be love. But in this case, it was more females, and it was females I went to school with. And, you know, immediately they're like, oh shit, what the fuck? And I had one of the best nights of my life in that
Memory lane.
Man, nah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Everything about it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, these people do this every day. Like this is kind of their life. And for some people, man, that's great. That's great. If you like it, I love it. But I know there's some people that's in that crowd that have much more potential that they're wasting because they can be in a place where they get validated that, hey, look, I'm not a loser because I'm just like you. And I don't have to chase my dreams because, you know, why? I'm safe here and I'm not judged here and it's okay here. Yeah. And it's all about the hood, right? Or it's all about wherever you're from, the Bay, wherever. Those places are like, the gutter can be warm. The gutter can be warm, man. And I just feel like there's so much wasted talent.
Yeah.
I
unrealized potential, yeah.
Man, listen, something about the ghetto that brings out the creativity. I don't know what it is. Listen, when you go into I feel like there's nothing more dead than like the middle class suburb, because like they really got to prove themselves because they're a little bit too rich for the ghetto kids, and they don't got enough money to really get busy with the snobby kids, so they're kind of fucked in the middle. But in the ghetto, if you play football, you're going to play football on the roughest field. That field's going to be stupid, uneven. You're playing tackle football because we ain't pussy. Right. Like, everything is against you. You got to fight your way out of it. It brings out the best in some people. You start hearing, I've heard some of the best singers, the best dancers, like the best, all in my own community. And a lot of them didn't do anything with it. And that's why I said I feel like it's a safety blanket or a safety net that people, they stay in these places that they're like, yo, at least I'm accepted here and I get validated here. Because I'm going to be real with you. For one, you have to validate yourself. Getting validation should come from within. It shouldn't come, you should know who you are and what you're about. But trying to get validated outside of your hometown, you got to earn that shit. Yeah. They're not giving out. I would say the hardest thing about out here, oh my God, New York City is the roughest, most competitive place. Fuck. Yeah. And you see that, man, people, because you're not going to get your little validation. I can get your little pat on the back. Everybody's trying to take from you. I've seen some of the baddest bitches come out here and be like, I got it. Not when they see all the line of 100 other bad bitches trying to go after it too. Now all of a sudden you don't want to play no more, or you're playing for. We got off, but
it's okay.
We got off, but yeah, I've seen people come out here and inside their mind they're the hometown hero, but here you're a bum. You're nothing, and it takes a strong person to, like, this is not about me. I'm barely making it over here. I might be back in the hood, right. But it takes a resilient person who believes in theirself. Like, nah, man, I belong here. Who the fuck are you to tell me where I should be? Yeah. But that it takes a lot. You got to jump off the cliff. Yeah. Like, I remember, well, you moved to New York too. Yeah. What was it like when you first moved to New York? Scared?
100%. I think that it was a mirror.
Intimidating, right?
Very, very intimidating. And I think that I found out, and I think I spoke on this on my top process, but I found out fast just how introverted I was. Because the idea is not, and this is where psychologically it's like you really have to understand how this thing works, because it'll make you feel like you can do something until it's time to do it, and then your emotional state isn't in tune with your brain, and then it's like, oh no.
The idea is lovely.
Is great. Yeah. It's a fun place to be.
But when you're really in there.
In it, yeah. Exactly. And I think that, to what you were saying about, like, you can be this person somewhere else, and then you come here, and it's like, kind of like the metaphor of like big fish in a small pond. And it's like, if what you're looking for is the validation, sure, you can stay there. But if what you're looking for is to grow, you're going to have to get in that bigger pond, and you're going to have to face whatever you feel in that bigger pond. And you can't go back to the smaller pond. If you do, you know what's there. And when I first moved to New York for the first time, it was like, holy shit, I underestimated just how intense this is. And at the time, I didn't know just how much unresolved trauma I had. So now what happens there, if I may,
New York will bring that out too.
Exactly. And what happened there for me is psychologically, I'm like giving myself every fucking reason to stay in my safe zone. I'm giving myself every reason why it's fine for me to stay inside. And that hindered a lot of my growth, because if I do step outside, I'm not understanding that this is something I have to get better at. At the time, it wasn't something I realized, hey, it is scary, but keep showing up to it.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I knew somebody that came out here, and they came out here for just a job opportunity. And I believe before they were here, it was California. And then I think they might have spent some time in Florida or whatever, but there was a job opportunity that was like, you can either be in LA, Miami, or New York City. And she had went to Miami. She was like, I think I want New York City. Came out to New York City, and the anxiety of all the noise and everything that was around her and everything just drove her insane, right? And her she didn't like it. She liked the idea, and it's all hey, the rooftop lounges and all this high living and shit. But it was just too much around her, right? Yeah. And her therapist, who she was like talking to every day, was like, yo, you just get out there, like it'll fade. Like, she's like, wait, no, I think I should move. And she was like, well, I mean, you could move and work on it there, or you could just go outside more and face it. And I remember we were talking one time, and I'm like, yo, like, so what are you gonna do? And she's like, I just don't think I could hack it. And I'm like, is that the anxiety talking? Yeah. Or is that really what you want? And I think we all know that was the anxiety talking. Yeah. But it's exactly like that. People come out here and the anxiety is so high. Mm-hmm. The first thing they do is like, I just don't belong here. Nah, man, you will adjust. Yeah, adjust. Keep going outside. Keep taking a crack at it.
Yeah, and that goes for everything. Even in the sense of therapy, it's like you're gonna reach those areas of conversation within yourself with your therapist of like, ooh, wait a second, that's actually heavy. Yeah. And if you go in with the intention of like, nah, we're here to do the heavy shit, then you'll go through it fluidly. But there are those topics, just like being in the city, where you approach it and you're like, oh my God, this is a lot more than I was ready for.
What was one of your scariest moments in the city?
Man, on the top of my head, scary how? Scary like in just major intimidating intense? That's a good question.
Well, you performed on like Jimmy Fallon?
No, how was that? That was intense. In all the best ways. No, it was. It was. And what's crazy is that actually came at a time where I fell hard on my mental health journey. And it was kind of around the pivoting moment for me of like getting help and all this stuff. And I stepped away from the city at the time, like a month or two prior to this Jimmy Fallon thing kicking off. I wrote how it all went. For those of you who know, it's like I wrote that song, You Might As Well. I'm going about my healing journey. Now I have to pay attention to that first. I had to put that at the forefront of my business. And that's how that song came about. And then 2 months later, before I know it, it's like, hey, this is happening to this song. You're getting sampled. Hey, we're performing it. We want you there on Jimmy Fallon. And here I am thinking like my life was just shit 2 months ago, and I'm on Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I feel like. That's life, though. I was going to say, life has those kinds of checkpoints when you show up. When you show up, I feel like the universe has that thing to it.
I've been believing a lot more into that, like manifesting.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a trippy moment that, I mean, yeah, I'm going to keep advocating for men to sit down, because when I was talking, I have so much, I've come so far, right? But never feels like it's far enough. Like I said, the emptiness was just eating me alive. Yeah. And she had asked me a question along the lines like, how do you think you accomplished all this? Like, this is what you wanted. And now I'm trying to get you to be present in this moment.
Yeah.
To be able to enjoy the hard work that you put in because you did it. But that goes back to the dark motivation, is that it kind of steals the joy of all the hard work, because the hard work is motivated by the pain. But I feel like, well, we've had many conversations. We're both Catholic. I feel like God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, when you put it out there, you're like, this is what I want.
Yeah. God
is like, prove it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're willing, if you're willing to prove it, then I'll be there. You know, but it ain't gonna be. It's not gonna be easy.
No.
You know, like everybody would have it if that was the case. But I truly believe, like especially with females, I'll talk to them and I'll say, like, what do you want out of life?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a passion? Is there anything bigger than this? Like, is this it, or like? Whatever you'd be surprised how many women or just people in general get stumped on that. I'm like, yo, let's just say you got 100 everyday magical pennies to throw into the fountain. You ain't gonna throw one. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna throw one. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like, yo, it's just a fucking penny, bro. I don't believe in that shit. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I threw my shit in.
Yeah.
And look at me now. You know what I'm saying? And you just called me and asked me for some money. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to start throwing them pennies in the fucking fountain, bro.
Right.
Because I ain't got it right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got it right now.
Sound like you had to get that off your chest.
For real. Oh, man.
No,
My
I hear
goodness,
you.
man.
I hear you.
Everybody always needs something.
Yeah.
Everybody always needs. Yeah, don't get me started on that. But I feel like, why not dream?
Yeah. No, really, though.
Why not?
And that, right to that point, in agreement with you, it's like some people will be so stuck unknowingly, or at least subconsciously not knowing, like deciding to just numb themselves from it, so stuck in their traumatic past or traumatic childhood that there's probably some rooted beliefs somewhere in there that have to do with why you can't see.
I think that is it. They don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
And that's all of that is a part of trauma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, look, I had like a few issues, and I was like, one of the first questions I got asked was like, what do you want? And I was like, I just don't want to feel this way. Like this little anxiety thing, if you could tone it down like 2 notches, I'll do the rest. Yeah. And it's like, it'll just come back. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to come back. Because you're not sorting it out. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on, so when it happens, there's more of a freak out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, imagine your car, right? Like, if there was no lights and all of a sudden it just started fucking up, you're going to freak out a lot harder because you're not going to know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Instead of being like, yo, we need to change the oil. You know, we got to flatten
when
the
you
back.
know the problem.
Yeah, it's like you know what you need.
Yeah.
So you can help yourself out of whatever problem you're facing. But yeah, I was like, yo, let me just tone down this anxiety. I'll be fine. Get right back to work. I got so much more out of that. I'm trying to tell y'all. It has changed the way that, I hate to sound cliche, but it doesn't work unless you work it.
Oh yeah. What's so crazy is I had a cliche thing to say as well, is you brought up the car. You brought up the car thing. Some people have this, you know, unfortunately, it sounds as simple as it is, so it makes it sound like I'm calling somebody stupid, but I've been there. How can you expect to fix the engine if you don't even lift the hood of the car? It's like, you have to lift the hood of the car of yourself and find out the fucking problem.
Where'd you get that saying at, man?
Because you said car. I swear to God. I swear to God, I felt it. I was like, I think that's a good way to explain it.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, I don't know, like, I just keep driving it.
Nah, that gets right to the point. Check under the fucking hood.
You got to. You have to look at that engine.
See what's going on under there.
Yeah.
Trust me, there's some shit going on under there. Real shit. There is. And that's my whole point in saying that there was so much more than I came for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now, like, I feel like I try not to be a preachy person, but as you can see, it's not working. I try to tell people that I know need it. I'm like, bro, you really want to hit that brick wall, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you really want to hit that, bro? Like, you can just go in there right now while things is somewhat okay, while you still got your family or the job you're working or whatever's going on in your life. Go do it now, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, even if you just learned about how this affects other people, bro, you learn a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, look, like when I started learning about the narcissistic behaviors and all that, when I noticed that, like, I'm currently doing it, I was like, oh shit, all right, yeah, nah, let's kill that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what it means, I know where it's stemming from, so I can start doing this little evaluating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
reflecting.
Yeah. And I felt like there was so much that I was doing that I was my own worst enemy. Oh, yeah. And now that I'm not doing those things, I'm pretty sure even some of my fans could probably look and see in the way I'm talking, the way I carry myself. All that shit is therapy, man.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate the fans that do drop those comments? Because I've seen them and they are so helpful. Mm-hmm. The ones where they're like, I've been following you from the beginning. I've seen you grow. Yeah. Oh my God.
Man, I just got one the other day. Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's like Mary Jane said that or something. She was like, I followed you for your music, but now I'm staying for something else.
Podcast or whatever. Yeah,
and I get that. And like, I think I said this in the beginning. I feel like my decision to go get the therapy is the day the little boy in me died.
Yeah.
And now it's like I look at, I obviously have a heart for where I came from because I understand it too. Yeah. I understand exactly what they're going through. I'm like, dude, that was me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But there's so much more to life than what you have right in front of you. And a lot of that is just a recurring self-soothing behavior that replays over and over and over again. If you look at your life and you say, all right, I'm doing the same thing I was doing 6 years ago, there's a problem, bro.
Yeah.
There's a fucking problem. Like, there's got to be a chapter in your life where you turn the fucking page.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just need a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I'll say is sometimes you don't even think the shit's working, and one day you're going to wake up and be like, oh, shit, it worked.
You talking about the help?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like
I would 100% agree with that.
Here's an area that, is it helping you in like dating?
So that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it's helping me prepare for getting back into dating because at the end of the day, I can go into dating anytime I want. That's the truth of the matter. But if I go in there as the tornado that I am.
Hold on. See, this is like such a breath of fresh air because we're so used to these other women that are just like, you come off very reserved with it.
It took me a long time to get here. It wasn't always this way.
But I'm trying to tell you, well, I don't want to say your age, but you started getting help in your 20s, man. Yeah. So I mean, like, this is definitely showing.
I appreciate
you know what I'm saying?
that.
Like, it's showing.
That means a lot to me.
When I talk, nah, go ahead. You were talking.
Oh, the dating?
Do you remember?
Yeah, it definitely helped me in the sense of knowing that I'm gonna be better when I start dating again by doing the work now. Because I used to believe, and I've talked about it, and by the way, I'm not afraid. My last Thought Process episode, I literally said 28 life lessons at age 28. But yeah, I think that it was a better way for me to learn about myself by saying, hey, right now, stay out of the dating world because you have enough work on your hands.
I did the same thing.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think in that sense, it's very helpful. Very.
Yeah. You know what? It's like when you take a seat on the sideline and you can just watch the game, you're like, oh man, sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
That's all. I see the way that I would say right now there is such a mental health crisis because of the phones. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
It's the phones. And the phones are feeding these people whatever they want to hear. And for the first time, we're having people be in their own mini echo chamber bubble. And then when they get outside of it now, like we used to back in the 90s or early 2000s, and we mingled with people that felt differently and thought differently, we were okay. Now, these motherfuckers can't take it. They're triggered and they can't be around someone that feels different. And I feel like whenever you get, I think it's happening without getting political, I think it's happening to the LGBTQ community. I think that whenever you get too many people that are just feeling that same way and all they're doing is bouncing the same ideas, I think they get bored. And I think they start to get more and more extreme and they start upping the ante, you know, and that's not just the LGBTQ. That could be religion. Every time the religion kind of be like, yo, let's just deal with each other. Then all of a sudden they drink Kool-Aid and somebody's getting all kinds of shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anytime that we need to get around each other again. Yeah. And start to realize that, hey, man, somebody thinks differently and that's okay.
100%.
You know, a lot of people, but I feel like my whole point was that accelerates the mental health crisis. You put a whole bunch of gangbangers together, one day, they're going to fist fight. Next day, they're going to jump somebody. Next day, they're going to stab somebody, shoot somebody. Yeah. Then wait till they go to prison. See the violence that's going on in prison? They keep upping the ante all the time. We need to put people around other people that think differently so we could all kind of mellow the fuck out a little bit. Yeah. But I feel like the mental health side of all this, especially with what happened during this election, we won't get into that, but I feel like that has brought it to the fucking surface where it's like, bro, listen, I know you want to hide this. Yeah. And I know you want to be like, no, it's just the injustice of whatever it is. Go get your help. Yeah. Bro, go get your fucking help. Mm-hmm. Like, you're over here, like, we're all having to deal with this shit. Just go get your help.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And listen, just to clear up, you know what? No, I'm not going to clear it up. No, I'm not going to clear it up. Yeah. It doesn't need to be cleared up. I didn't even say anything. If you take it wrong, whatever. Yeah. But I feel like with what's going on, sometimes I feel like at any moment we're going to wake up one day and the government is going to be like, look, new study. Right. Mental health, social media, gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that way because listen.
That would be crazy.
I just recently, you notice, I went 3 months without social media and all that, right? And the 2 weeks are always the hardest. And then the next 2 weeks that follow that, there's a little bit of whatever. But when you're probably a month in, you're like, I'm actually living life again. Yeah. I love life. Yeah. You know, like I see these people, they too hard for their own good. They just want to be gangster all the time. That's not me. Yeah. That's not me. I've had enough of that gangster experience activity for me. Yeah. You know, too many dudes. You know what I'm saying? Way too many dudes. Like, like it's not just something I just want to do all the time. Like, there's so much more out there.
So much more.
And that shit's gangster to me. Yeah. But I see, what was I talking about?
Well, you're talking about one day.
I was about to rant on that.
It's good though. It's good. You were saying one day you feel like we're gonna wake up. There we go.
No. So when I took the time off of the social media, right? When I started getting around people again, I was like, nah, there's a fucking problem. There's a problem, y'all. And I'm gonna sound crazy to people that haven't done a social media detox, but I promise you, if you have, there's a problem. You ever talk to somebody in prison? Talk to somebody in prison for an hour and you'll realize how much of a conversationist they are and how much you aren't. Because you're like, dude, there's nothing to talk about because they don't know anything on social media. And I say, dude, I used to talk when my boys was in prison, hours, because that's what we did on the phone. Yeah. Now you can't, they don't know what you know. There's nothing to talk about because you're on your phone every day. They don't got a phone every day. Yeah. So they're really having conversations. They playing dominoes. This is how they pass time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But my whole point is when I went back out into the world, especially a place like this city, you notice that everybody is the same. Mm-hmm. Like there's a problem, y'all. Like they're like, if we are sheep right now, y'all. Mm-hmm. Like real sheep. And what bothered me is I could talk to a female and I'll know right away. Like especially when I'm off of social media. Social media is a drug. It's a drug. But I'll know immediately talking to any female that I know has I would say like a validation problem. Like it's attention, but females get so much validation off of Instagram, social media that men don't. And you could tell. Yeah. You can tell. I'm like, yo, I'm literally talking to like a drug addict. Like this woman is like a drug addict. Like if I don't give her certain things or I'll talk to I move slow with everything. Yeah. Everything I do, I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush. Yeah, I might not have as much as you want your sugar daddies to have or whatever you feel like is wealth, but I got enough for me to be afraid to lose it. And when you got something to lose, you don't move quick. So the fact that you're moving quick, bitch, lets me know all I need to know. Wow. You have nothing to lose. You're willing to roll the dice quick with me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing. The one time we ain't gonna rant on this podcast. But the one time, man, I'll tell this one story about this older female. She was, I mean, I want to call it older female, but like, let's just say 38.
Okay.
Money. Like money. I know she has money. Real money. Not like the little, I be stripping or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Real money. You know what I'm saying? She gave me such a stone cold, much more like a business meeting. Okay. But I knew why she was doing it. Dude, I knew why she was doing it. But she's doing it because she's like, hey, I don't move quick with nothing.
Okay.
You have red flags all over you.
I see.
Mr. Mase or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? But she's moving very slow and calculated in comparison to how these Instagram jump offs are moving.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, why is she not? Why is she not? And I'm like, oh shit.
You're the Instagrammer.
I'm the problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm the problem. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you can't win them all, man. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's you. Mm-hmm. But I'm looking at myself, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Because now I want this bitch to like jump on me, but don't get it fucked up. If that girl was just a regular, I'd be like, bitch.
Yeah.
Like if you ain't coming with the millions like that girl had, I'm gonna be like, bitch, hurry the fuck up, bro. Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing. Oh, but nah, the fact that she was moving slow, she has something to lose.
Yeah.
She's like, nah, but other females like, aren't you gonna FaceTime me? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not. I'm busy. That's the thing. Like, we're busy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I really be thinking about this shit, man. And here's the thing. I didn't realize how we did kind of take a turn in this podcast. All right. But I didn't realize how where I come from, or not even where I come from. We're all part of like subcultures.
Yeah.
One of my mentors said that I have a type, and he said it's ghetto fabulous. I heard that shit. I don't know if I said that on his podcast, but he called it ghetto fabulous.
Wow.
I'm like, ghetto fabulous? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, he's like, nah, they look like they, the big lips, that whatever it is. This dude's got money. I start looking at his wife, not like that, but I'm looking at his wife. I'm like, nah, he right, because that wouldn't really be my type. She's beautiful, but she's not my type.
Yeah.
Then I was like, man, is all this shit rooted in trauma? You know what I'm saying? Like the bitches I be going after shit. Because you never know.
You do never know.
You never know. And I might get validated by those females. This is how deep it goes. I might get validated by those females, and those other females will challenge me, and I'll be like, I don't want them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to go back to these bad bitches, because bad bitches ain't talking about shit. You know what I'm saying? They ain't talking about shit. I've been so disappointed with the bad bitch. I've given them chance after chance.
Yeah.
Chance after chance.
Yeah.
No, listen. You was just feeding it to me. He's like, nah, go ahead, bro.
Well, I just
looked across and seen you like, I'm going to let you hang yourself on this. I've been giving y'all chance after chance. I'm all like, for real, bitch, Denise, call me back. Call me back. Oh, yeah, by the way, Tatiana Manaois, our guest. You know what I'm saying? I just had to get that
what
off.
Went wrong? What went wrong, Denise?
Bitch, last night, Mulberry Street.
You didn't feel it? You didn't feel the connection? Am I the Instagrammer? Just tell me now. I'll change my ways.
Nah. But back to the whole, this is a fucking drug.
Oh, yeah.
This is a drug.
Oh, yeah.
Real shit.
To detox from it is so important, I feel like. And it is hard. It is hard to do it because not a lot of people will. So then you're the oddball out. Yeah. And then now also you have to be still on it, because if you're a social media content creator or musician, anything nowadays, you have to have some kind of social media presence for your business.
Check this out, man. If you weren't here right now, I probably would be all the way off
on the topic.
We'd have been like, so in Vietnam in the 1970s.
Wow. No, I actually believe it.
You heard about the 4B movement?
Oh, Lord.
Have you?
No, this is how I know I've been detoxing from social media. There's so much that I don't know. And I'm like, I don't even know if I should.
4B movement, man. It's the B stands for like no. 4B, yeah, it started in Korea. I don't know what was happening in Korea. No? Yeah, I think it's like Korean. Like
okay.
The 4 B's or
I
don't know.
The language it means no. Got it.
I think the 4 no's, and it was like you can't date a man, you can't have sex with him, you can't have his baby, and you can't marry him.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they definitely spread that little thing, but yeah, no, could have been the 1B. It's been like, yo, don't date men. I don't think you get any of the others without that one. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
The 1B movement. You know what I'm saying? Again, bitch, you're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're always making a lot out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? For real. The 4Bs, it's 1B, bitch. One. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? Fuck it. The 5Bs. Don't have a phone call with them either. You know what I'm saying? The 6Bs. Don't take a picture with these motherfuckers. But get over yourself, bruh.
Right.
For real. Nah, this is the end of the whiskey. That's actually what's happening right now. We're going to hit the pub after this, man.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I hear that.
Nah, for real. Oh, man.
But no, to answer your question, I did not know about that movement. To bring it all full circle, that's probably why who am I kidding? It's not probably why. That is 100% why I advocate so much about mental health, because it starts with everything that we're talking about.
That was the straw. Right. Speaking about the straw, man, the peanut, the squirrel got killed. Like, we laid on that, but that's ridiculous, man.
I didn't even dive into the whole story.
That's ridiculous.
It is. Where's your
ridiculous. Mind? Like I said, without getting too much into it.
Yeah.
The government's lost they shit. Like, in NYC, I believe that's where the squirrel was.
No.
In NYC.
Wow.
We got real killers on the streets. You know what I'm saying? Y'all over here tripping about a goddamn squirrel? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why I say this shit. I'm like, look, when it come down to this administration, I don't care locally, I don't care where it is. Like, this has got to be the worst. Like, these are the dark ages, yo.
Yeah.
Like, this shit was horrible. Yeah. Horrible. You're breaking into somebody's house. But here's the thing. I heard that costs like $350,000 to do. The government had to get a SWAT team, had to get a warrant with the judge, to kill a squirrel. How the fuck are you prioritizing that? How are you saying like, yo, there's an Instagram famous squirrel? It's the clout.
I don't even know how to compute $350,000 like, to do that.
Here's the thing. Like, if we were to tell somebody, if we were to be like, hey, yo, I got a random neighbor, and he has a squirrel right now. And I don't think, because I think it's like a restriction. You're not allowed to have like a pet that could have rabies or some sort of whatever. They not doing shit. They not finna fucking come out and be like, hey, we got a call that there's a squirrel in here. No, they did it because he was famous. They did it because Peanut the squirrel was famous.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can see
That's why they were like, nah.
Yeah.
We don't want that. Why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Peanut.
You have a different, distorted, And
they killed a raccoon, too. It wasn't
I did hear about that.
Yeah, it wasn't just the squirrel.
It's too far.
The raccoon, too.
It's too far.
This is... I feel like we are living in a simulation or something like that, man.
Yeah, it did feel like it got really dark.
What a time to be alive, though. Mm-hmm. What a time. And I don't care what your political beliefs are. If you hate Trump, love Trump, doesn't matter. He's a polarizing figure. If this is the end of it all, he's going to go down with like Alexander the Great, Jesus Christ, like those type. I heard that his Googles and just not propaganda, but
like his profile?
No, like the papers, like all the there's a word I'm like magazines and all that, whatever, published, whatever, right?
Okay, yeah.
Is nobody's even close. Mm-hmm. Like nobody's even close. Like let's say if they Googled I don't know who the most Like, let's say Beyonce got like 10 million. He got like 10 billion. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah, I didn't know that number. Yeah.
But his adversaries did that. The people who disliked him, they did that. You created this monster, this huge, bigger than life person. Now you got to deal with him. Yeah. Like now you stuck. Y'all manifested this shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Kinda.
Real shit. Like really manifested this though. Like really like out of thin air. What?
This comes. No, I'm talking to you. Nothing.
Oh.
There's nothing behind you.
There's a mosquito. No, I was like, hell nah, bro.
I was gonna say I am quoting an animated movie, but Kung Fu Panda said like one often meets its destiny on the road he takes to avoid it.
What a quote.
Right, but so in that sense, it's like it's kind of like, at least that's how it seems, where it's like you didn't want him so bad. He ended up getting it.
That is so real. That is so real.
Does that make sense?
Listen, man. Look, like out here in Manhattan, it's like a liberal stronghold, right? Like there's a lot of men. If you do business here, there's nothing you could do. There's some people that's like, man, why are you mingling around these people? I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Get paid to do it, bro. I'm not just. We think I'm out here just like doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to be around different people. They don't bother you. You don't bother them.
Yeah.
But I watched it unfold. Like I literally watched like when they got Trump out, and it was like Joe Biden won. They're like, oh my God, we're so glad it's behind us. Like, yeah, we'll never have to worry about him again. This motherfucker rose from the ashes, bruh. This motherfucker rose from the ashes. And I saw it start where it was like, oh. And then they're like, no, he'll never get past almost said it. He'll never get past the R-word case. He'll never get past that thing and that thing, and then all of a sudden just nothing was sticking. He was like Floyd Mayweather with the fucking shoulder roll. Philly shell. Like this dude could not be touched. Then like last year or something, whenever he got like he could run, because they're like, he'll never make it on the ballot. And that motherfucker was definitely on the ballot. You know what I'm saying? When I seen this starting to come up, like sheer panic. Like I watched it day by day by day, all the way to this, and boy, did it not disappoint. Boy, did it not disappoint. Man, we was out on election night. It was like a goddamn funeral around
so
here.
Dead.
I knew people personally, man. I was walking in the bars, they were literally crying into somebody's like a chest, like in the hug.
It was a heavy night.
I didn't even know what to say. I'm like, hey, yeah. I'm like, you're good, bro. Like,
I wanted to,
I was gonna say that you know, like they're breaking down. They're like, all my friends' rights have gotten stripped away. I'm like, who, bro? Who you talking about it?
Right.
Like, and it comes down to the I'll say this. You ain't gotta say nothing, but like the trans community. Listen, bro. I don't know what's really going on with the rights of this and that, but you can't have a biological male in a biological female sports. It just contradicts one another. You can't care about women and be all for women's rights and then be like, yeah, throw that dude in there. And I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, hey, gender ain't sex, sex ain't gender. Well, whatever the fuck is a man, that thing can't go over to the other thing. Like that can't happen because the woman is gonna pay the price. That biological female, no. And here's my problem with that. Why is it only the dudes trying to go over and fight the bitches? Why is it always the dudes trying to go fight the females? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't there hella females like, yo, I'm ready to get in there with the dudes? Like, you don't see it. You don't.
Yeah.
We should do like a trial run just to kill all this. Be like, we got an open window of 3 months. Whoever wants to crisscross around, you know what I'm saying? These poor women, man, would just... It would not be pretty.
If the world needs to see how that wouldn't work.
Yeah. And I just think, man, y'all got too greedy. You know what I'm saying? You got too greedy. But I would say, to leave this on a positive note, like we like to do on Mac Talk, you couldn't even get it out, is you got to, as the LGBTQ, everything else, look how far you've come.
Yeah.
Like just 8 years ago, you had Obama. You know, Obama's first term, he was like, I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. I didn't know he was I didn't know that he came out and said that he was anti-gay and lesbian marriage, whatever.
I didn't know that.
Well, he did. He did. He better have. Or like,
I believe I heard the same.
I'll put something in here. I'll
fact
put something like that. Yeah.
But I do believe I heard the same.
But now, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares. Like, I'm not coming across people like, yo, like the gay marriage issue. Y'all good money. Everything is good. You're fine. It's all the other shit. You try to sneak into the envelope. You got to know this shit. America, look, you might be in tough shit right now. Give it some time. America's like that. I don't know what your issue is out there, but America's finicky like that. Yeah. But you can't get it all done at once. We don't like change like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm walking around and people are like, yo, like in fucking shambles. Yeah. Like the goddamn, let me find out y'all making more money next year. Let me find out, bro. You owe me a check just for dealing with this shit, bro. Just for being around this shit, bro. Like real shit. These motherfuckers done gaslit theyself into believing that the whole Trump years were like the worst. Y'all was getting money. Yeah. 2018, y'all was good. Keep it real.
It's financially, it did feel like it definitely went left in the last 4. I do not mean that in the way that way, but like went south.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
That shit went left. Yeah. And the craziest thing, go ahead.
No, please, no.
Yeah, no, I kind of got us here. So I feel like right now, here's the thing that I have with people that I know personally. They're like, yo, how could you? How could you? I'm like, bro, I read up on it. That's how could I? I heard you guys bitching about this shit for a long time, saying he's this, saying he's that. And I kind of took your word for it. But y'all got a little crazy. You got a little crazy. One thing I heard was, and I'm not going to say it in the beginning, but you can Google it. There was supposedly a 13-year-old girl that Mr. Trump had taken advantage, R-worded. And it was like a 13-year-old is going to tell her story. Never came forward, was always a Jane Doe. Just complete fabrication. Everybody could look into this themselves. Never came forward. It could have been anybody who said it. And that's what they were running with. They were like, he's a monster. I'm hearing shit like that. I'm like, yo, listen, you give some famous guy who used to party at every party, Vegas, Playboy Mansion, Trump Tower. Yeah, you tell me that there's a few females coming forward saying that they got sexually assaulted. No surprise. That's been happening with many celebrities that we have. Many. I'm not surprised, but they were going deep. He's a con man and he's this and he did this and all. It got so crazy. I'm like, fuck it. I'm reading up on it. And after I read up on it, I was relieved. Yeah. Like what? I don't know what's going on. I was relieved. I was like, yo, thank God it's not true how they were saying it. Then when I bring it back to them, I'm like, hey, bro, I read all through that. Yeah. It's not anything like you said it. Then I realized some of the people that I call friends, and I still do, didn't really care about the truth that was in that one case. It's like, well, we'll look at everything else. It's like, you're going to send me on a wild goose chase. Yeah. And you don't even care about this truth. So it boils down to, I'm not even against you on an issue. I'm against who you feel should run the country. I'm not against these issues. I believe, listen, it's simple. I'll say this and I'll get myself in trouble. Fuck it. I'm not, when it comes down to women's reproductive rights, I feel like if you look at the stats, women spoke on that as far as the voting data goes. The whole country let their voices be heard on election day. And that's how we do it in America. Some sides are going to lose. And when you lose, you got to fucking suck it up, because that's how a democracy really works. When the majority of the country says, hey, listen, I know we got that issue going on and that issue and all these issues, but we're going to prioritize these issues over those issues. You got to take it. You can protest, be it all you want. Do whatever you want. Shave your head. Do whatever you want. That's your right as an American. You have a free. It's a free country. You have the right to protest, but you can't discard more than half of the country. Like, yo, they just don't understand. No, you don't understand. And I'm sorry to even say it like that, because there has to be somewhat of a compromise. There has to be, when it comes down to rolling back the reproductive rights. There were problems with it when it was in the federal government's hands. You can't regulate it if it's in the feds. So a lot of people didn't like that. Half of the country, half of the states didn't like that. They didn't want it. Other states They loved it. So my whole thing is, if it goes down to the states and your states votes for it, whatever they vote, fine with me. It's fine with me. But listen, we weren't even going to have a ship to even talk on if we don't have a good, what was it called? A good, whoever's steering the ship. Yeah. And whoever was steering the ship. Yes, a good captain. And you only get 2 choices. 2. So I'm going to take a page out of the left's book, The Lesser of Two Evils. I picked the lesser of my 2 evils. And if you ask me who I would prefer to run this country out of those 2, Trump.
Right.
Trump. Trump. No, I'm just kidding. No, real shit. It was kind of easy. Yeah. It was kind of easy. I feel like this is normal in politics. So I was reading a book and it said political parties usually come and go. They have like a dynasty. They kind of reign for a little bit and then they get injured. Like they kind of go dormant and they got to find themselves again. That's where I feel like the Democrats are. You better learn from this shit. You're never going to win another one.
Right.
Because it's not the same conservative culture that it used to be where people are so uptight and all that. Nah, it's regular motherfuckers. It's regular people. You know what I'm saying? I don't mean to end it on a political note, but yeah.
It's good insight for me. I mean, I'm somebody who hasn't paid attention.
Oh yeah, you're here. No. I knew that was gonna happen in the end, man. I got myself in something. I had to like dig myself out.
No, listen, hey, this is the Mac Talk podcast. This is your podcast.
Appreciate that.
Hell yeah, you got it, man. Do not apologize at all.
No,
yeah. I was just gonna say it's I love hearing more insight, especially someone who's involved in the knowing of it all, like out there with people, seeing it for yourself, and also doing your homework and due diligence on what is happening and what is the truth, because that's such a great example to set for somebody like me who has never paid attention to politics like that and never paid attention to how it moves people and how people make certain stances on things. Since we're talking about what we talked about in the beginning is from a traumatic place or whatever your reasonings are, probably has to do with you need to heal or whatever. Like people make decisions out of these places. So to hear the insight and the contrast of like, dude, I saw what was going on. I heard what people were talking about and I let it be the truth until I searched for myself and found out that's a little out of context or whatever the case was. Yeah. Or, too far. You went too far stretching that lie or whatever, however you saw it. And it's like, to hear that, it's like, look, this is...
I just felt like it started to mess with the quality of life. Like, I'm gonna say this, and you lived out here long enough that, like, people aren't even having fun anymore. Yeah. And for one, I think that's just because I don't think it's deep at all. They don't got money. Period.
To do the fun things.
Look, a lot of people... they move to New York, they can't sustain it, they move out. That's normal. But I've never seen like a mass exodus like I've seen the last 4 years. But when people don't have money, they don't want to have fun. They're not optimistic. I know it. I will never forget the feeling of my family being broke. And because we weren't broke, my whole upbringing was not like that. Like we had everything we needed. We were good. There was like a period of like 3 years where it just was not cool. And that feeling of we don't know what's going to happen is treacherous, man. And I think that's why I've always done everything in my power to make sure that I'm financially okay. Cause I know, like, look, man, I remember when I was broke, ain't nobody talk about no feelings. Yeah. There was not one conversation, like, how you feel today? It was like, yo, where the fuck is the money? How we gonna get this money? The money. Like, and then when we had enough to sustain ourselves, we had the greatest time just knowing that the lights are going to still be on, food is going to be on the table, and the rent is paid. Right. And we had the most fun because that's all we needed, because it's all we wanted. It was all we were worried about. Yeah. So I know that at the end of the day, the media, the phone might tell you, hey, man, the sky is falling, this and that. Look, you're broke. The government's running off with your money. That's what's happening. You ain't got a lot of money right now. And one way that they can get you distracted by that horrible fact of reality is to have you emotionally twisted about somebody taking away your rights, about this, that, or whatever, or all these enemies that condone a Hitler or a racist or whatever it is. They want you to get emotionally involved so they can skate off with your money.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
You heard it here.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, we definitely got to do a part 2. I can see the time here.
Hell
we got to do a part 2. Thank you so much for doing this. I know it was a wild ride.
I was
We're
happy
gonna
to
get
be
better
here.
at this. We'll get better at this. Don't even trip.
No, it was an honor. It was an honor to be on the official set of the Mac Talk podcast.
Yeah. Do you wanna plug your Instagram or anything? Or?
I mean, sure.
All my 25 followers.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. Do you want me to say my ad name? I could just give you. Oh.
Wait, all right. Yeah, we'll put it. We'll put it
here and here and wherever the video is.
Thank you. If you're still here, love you to death. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay savage. It's a war outside. All right. Peace. That was good.